How's it going, guys? I got a pick here in this week 5 matchup. We got Ravens versus Texans. This matchup is taking place in Baltimore in Ravens' backyard. If we look at this matchup, we see no Lamar Jackson, so that's why we see this game a little bit lopsided when you see the odds. We got Texans at minus 130 favorite. And then you have the Ravens at plus 105 underdog with that line spread at minus 1.5. Like I said, Houston is favored in this matchup, which does make it a little bit interesting because Lamar Jackson is obviously that much of an important player where this spread is like this. And I mean, we all know two-time MVP is definitely that guy. So it's gonna make a difference in this matchup. But not just Lamar is out on this matchup. I don't know if too many people understand that. They have Roquan Smith out, Hamilton's out, Humphreys is out. That's not just Lamar. That's three key factors in their defense, two being secondary and one being a very good linebacker. That's just really good since he's come in this league. I would argue top 10 in this league since he's entered this league. Roquan Smith has been a very consistent player, not just for them, but just like I said, in his career. But on the other end, they do have another player that is back that I do think will play a big part in this matchup, which is Yair Alexander. He is back. That is definitely a key player that they are getting back, although they are losing two secondaries, like I said. If you look at this matchup more and just look at the players in these games, the Ravens' numbers for their defense, yes, they're struggling. Yes, they look like one of the worst in the league, but they have also played the top 5 teams in the league, not just in my opinion, but just that's just what it is. They've faced the Bills, Lions, and Chiefs. So yes, those numbers are going to be a little bit screwed up and looking a little bit lopsided, looking like they're one of the worst in the league. But of course, anybody's is going to look like with that when you play the Bills, Lions, and Chiefs in just 4 games. Man, that's just a tough ask for the Ravens, honestly, and a really tough ask for the defense. Not saying that their defense any excuses, but that's just a tough ask, and I don't think that they're as bad as people are thinking they are. Really, honestly, I still think they're better than most defenses in the league, and I think we will see that as the year goes on, and once they start playing more competitions that's not top 5 in the league, like I said. But then, like if you look at the Texans currently, they just got to win off the Titans, but they've really been struggling offensively. They've pretty much every game have lost within a drive, been very underwhelming. CJ Stroud just hasn't really hit that stride that he really has those few years ago. And just a lot of injuries, honestly. Not in the sense of similar to the Ravens, because their injuries have been preseason and just earlier on in the season, more like camp and all that stuff is when they've seen a lot of these injuries. Just a lot of key players just out. But they've been like that since week 1 practically, so it's a bit different. They played away in week 1 against the Rams, and they put up a really good fight, losing just by 5. And just on top of that, just their defense as a whole has just been really, really good in my opinion. I believe they're top 10 in the league. Their defense has held really good teams to little points. Especially that run defense. They don't give up really a lot of big plays through the air. Like I said, this run defense is really good. They've held Kyren Williams, Bucky Irvin, and ATN all less than 70 yards in a game, which is really impressive. Like we seen just last week or the week before, sorry. Yeah, last week we seen ATN Jags versus 49ers. ATN got like 130 plus or something crazy like that. Bucky Irving, as we all know, is just a crazy, insane back that is really efficient for the Buccaneers. And then Kyren Williams is doing his thing over there in LA for the Rams. So to hold them all just less than 70 yards to me is pretty impressive. This Houston defense needs credit and will get credit, I believe, as the season moves on. So that's why it is interesting me in this game, because all the Ravens players that are out, and even questionable, that they have a few receivers even questionable, which might make it even more tough. The fact that Cooper Rush is in quarterback with already a struggling passing average per game, with only averaging 100 passes per game. So if they do have those receivers that are questionable and doubtful and possibly out, that does make even a bigger difference for this offense. Yes, they have Derrick Henry, but what can Derrick Henry do off if he's all by himself, you know? Let me see. They have... No, they do not have any receivers out. So that is good. That does lean towards their side, but either way, that doesn't give the difference. Rather than the simple fact of Cooper Rush, like I said, had an average of 150 yards a game. He started 8 games last year for the Cowboys. So that to me, if you're not going through the air, you're running the ball. Yes, he's really good. Derrick Henry, we all know. Yes, he's had an iffy season this year. He's had a lot of struggles and difficulties. But at the end of the day, Houston's defense and run defense is strong. They hold fort. They've played two very tough teams away. Houston has and put up a good fight. They played Rams at LA. They played Buccaneers at Tampa Bay, and they put up good fights against both of them. Losing by 5 to the Rams, losing by 1 against the Bucs. Those are very tough teams. So I would lean Houston in this game. If I were to bet it, I would bet it Houston money line. I like them straight up. I don't really care if to lay that 1.5. To me, it doesn't really do much. I'd rather play a little bit of the juice in, -1, 130 that they're at right now. I don't mind that number. The over and under, I do like an under for this game. If I were to bet it, I would prefer an under. I do like Houston. It's just Ravens really need it, and they're at home is what scares me the most, and that's why I would lean more towards the under. I think that the Texans' offense, being that they have struggled throughout all these games and have just showed up against the Titans, the Ravens, I believe their offense will struggle with Cooper Rush. And yes, their defense hasn't been the best. I think this is a game where they can get back, get a little bit of groove into things, but there's still a good defense overall with the struggles of the offense of Houston being still a good defense, and Ravens not really the solid starter they want in Cooper Rush. I do lean towards that 40.5 under. Like I said, if I were to bet it, that's the thing I probably like the most. As well as Dalton Schultz for the Houston Texans, their tight end. I do like his receiving over. It's set at 32.5. The Ravens have allowed 40 yards to 3 tight ends in the last 4 games, to Kincaid for the Bills, and Njoku for the Browns, and Kelsey for the Chiefs. So, like I said, 4 games, 3 players, 3 of their tight ends got over 40 yards, and Dalton Schultz is definitely a critical player in this Houston offense. Only other person that's probably more crucial to him in this offense, receiving-wise, is Nico Collins. So he's pretty much right behind him. I do see Yair Alexander covering Nico Collins. If he is playing Yair Alexander, that's why I would lean towards that Dalton Schultz over 32.5, because he's going to have to get to that ball, most likely to someone else, because that is going to be a tough matchup. So lean more towards the under 40.5. I had to bet it, would choose Houston money line, and like I said, that player prop, I definitely like that 32.5 over for Dalton Schultz. So if you like these picks, dislike my opinions that I've just been giving out, please like, subscribe, and just even comment what you guys think about these games and these matchups that we have, even future bets and just kind of your teams and all that good stuff. So we're gonna try to kick the shit out of the books this Sunday. I'm gonna see how many vids I can release and just get out to you guys as much as possible. We'll for sure be having 3 just tonight, so stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys Sunday. Bye.